Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good middle of the night, I guess. It could be. For me, it's the evening, as usual. It's 9 o'clock on a Sunday evening here in Paris, near Paris. And here we are for another Infinite Creativity SABSANG with me, Sab. And as for the sang, you won't be hearing me doing much sanging, thankfully. You won't even hear me doing much bonging on my musical drum, because that's something I haven't really managed to keep going, along with the juggling. I won't be doing any juggling tonight, but those are two things I'm trying to do every day, even though they're not part of my major creative efforts. Kind of chugging along in the background. Have you got anything like that? Chugging along in the background? That it's like a hobby that keeps you sane. Well, mine's juggling and bonging on my musical drum, even though I don't shout about it too much. So how are you doing? Welcome. This is an hour or two. Come and go when you like. There's no problem. You know, I don't mind. I won't take it personally. I'll get my kitten to take it. And we're going to talk about creativity and productivity and anything else that comes to mind. I would like you to say hello if you don't mind. If you are new to this kind of thing, then if you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and just say yes, I can see who you are when you put your comments in. And that helps, because otherwise I'm talking to someone called Facebook User. And there's quite a few of those, so I don't really know who you are. So go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and just say yes, Sab can see who I am. And then you can comment in, you know, complete anonymity. I'll know who you are. And so will everyone else. And it'll be nice, because I'll see your photograph and everything. Talking of photographs, no, I'll show you a few photographs later. I've got a new plan, a new way of doing this. And it's pretty cool, because I don't have to do much. I just read. And it looks something like this. I share my screen with you, and I talk about my creative newsletter throughout the week, from Monday to Friday. If you're in the Crazy Creative Clan, which I've just called my creative people that receive my newsletter and are members of the Infinite Creativity Now group, you are automatically members of the Infinite Creativity Clan, or Crazy Creativity Clan or something. Clan is a Scottish word, and it's those guys who used to wear sort of, you know, kilts and run around going, yeah, fucking English, or something like that. And so that's why I call you the clan. I don't really like tribe, and it's not very politically correct. So maybe clan isn't politically correct, you know, if you're feeling that the Scots are being subjugated by anyone in particular. Anyway, the deal is I send out a newsletter every day. Yeah, and I'm managing to as well. You know, this must be another thing like the photography. I started it, and for some reason I didn't stop. And the newsletter, it's still going, and it's been about 3 weeks now. So every day I give you a little tip, a ponder, not necessarily a tip, a ponder on creativity and productivity. And it looks, well, I'm going to go through them, and you can see what you think, and you can comment, and you can show me your creativity as well. I would love you to guide me to your places where you're being creative, so that I can talk about your stuff too. This is Sunday's newsletter, and there's this is Saturday's newsletter. And as you can see, there are links to all of the 5 newsletters that came before. So that's pretty cool. You can immediately go there. If you didn't have time to read them in the week, you can read them on the Saturday. And it only takes about a minute or two to read the creative tip. No, that's not what I want to show you. I want to show you Sundays. That's today. And today's looks like this: Fabulous Sunday. And I say, and this is perfectly valid, thanks so much for reading, creating, and sharing this week. I hope it was inspiring and useful for you. Now, it could be with my help or on your own. Relax, there's nothing to do. The infinitely creative universe has got you. But you can join me for today's Infinite Creativity SABSANG. That's this. You have. Thank you. Right now. And we'll chat about this week's creativity tips and much, much more. So that's what we're doing now. I've got Karen is saying, I guess I have enough Scottish blood for that. Lol. Yeah. Well, that's great. Yeah. I mean, you know, I was born in Scotland, but my parents shipped me down to England. The Sassenachs. That's the word the Scots use to be derogatory about the English. They call them probably a swear word followed by 𝗏𝗏𝗏s, and it basically means the bloody English. And but I moved down when I was 2, so I don't have a Scottish accent. And it's mixed, I guess, because my parents were pretty out and out Scottish. They were born in Scotland and grew up in Scotland, but I grew up in England. And I moved to France, and I've lived in France for half my life. So what am I? I have no idea. Other claims to fame: a year in Australia and a year in Greece. What about you? Where are you from? And do you identify with that, or does that have nothing to do with anything as far as you're concerned? On a Sunday, I do give you one creative thing. I try to. And normally I'm pushed to do it when I realize I haven't done it, and it's a meme. And if you click on the meme, you go here to Infinite Creativity Now group. This goes hand in hand with the newsletter. So from the newsletter, you click over to the Infinite Creativity Now group, and you do stuff. You talk about creativity and you share your creative stuff. So I'm saying here, I say creativity as I see it draws on both the lighter side of life and the deepest questions imaginable. If you enjoy laughing irreverently at this crazy existence of ours, whilst marveling at the wonder of it all, you might appreciate this show, and I'd love to have you with me. And get your friends to join up as well to the newsletter. This is the meme, which I dreamt up a minute ago, to be honest. There are several ways to get to a certain place, but to get to an uncertain one, the options can't even keep pace. There are several ways to get to a certain place, but to get to an uncertain one, the options can't even keep pace. So this 81-piece series is supposed to rhyme, in case you didn't spot it. And this was immediately inspired by the picture, and that often happens. If in doubt, if I'm worried, I haven't got an idea, I just get some other piece of creativity to inspire me. And in this case, I looked at this, and in a couple of seconds, I thought, well, there's 3 different types of transport, not to mention a bench, which suggests stationary, not moving at all. And I thought, okay, people getting to places in different ways. And this is what fell out of my brain. The idea that, there's 2 sides to it, isn't there? There's having a goal can be really good. It can get you somewhere, you know where you're going. But having said that, the creative process is almost by definition, you haven't got a clue where you're going. I mean, you could have, but you don't know if you're really going to get there, or if you're going to go off on a tangent and don't end up somewhere else. And when you have got a goal, if you've got something you need to get done or you want to finish, fine, have that as an objective, and then you will head as quickly as you can towards it. But what about if you're just trying to see what happens? In that case, it's actually quite good not to have a goal, not worry about what's going to happen, not have any expectations, not have a clue what's going to turn out at the end of whatever it is you decide to do. And that's what I was getting at here. If you're aiming to get to a certain place, there's several ways you can get there, but you've still got to more or less, do something to get a final result. But you might be able to do it in several ways. But if you haven't determined where you want to get, or you're open to any possibility, then you can get there in a million ways. So I'm not saying that one is better than the other. Now I'm reflecting on it. I'm saying that there's 2 ways of looking at things. But I think a lot of people, they become obsessed by goals. They feel that the goal is the only thing that counts. They must get there. They probably define a way to get there, which eliminates all sorts of other interesting possibilities. So I think very artistic people are often less obsessed by goals, and they see what happens. Although some of us might get nervous at some point during the artistic process. And I don't know about you, but I get to a point in a painting, for example, pretty early on actually, and I think it's absolutely crap. It's just awful. Even though I know that I'm going to cover it over, you probably won't see 90% of what I'm thinking is crap. You won't even see. And yet I'm still thinking it's crap to the extent where I want to give up. But I remember that it gets better. When you keep going, it gets better. And sure enough, it ends up being something that I'm okay with. So that was my meme for the day. And I'll zip back to the newsletter, and I will just show you what's coming up. This is the other thing in the newsletter. At the end, it's always what's coming up. So you've got the Infinite Creativity SABSANG, that's now. You've got tomorrow's Creative Photo Show. I talk about photography. On Thursday, I talk about words. And on Friday, I talk about the group, which I've called Today's the Day. So the photography show goes with this group. I talk about photographs which people have contributed here. The writing show on Thursday is linked to the Creative Blog and Article Writing group, which I need more people to contribute to. I'm working on that one. And on Friday, it's a private chat. I don't broadcast it elsewhere. You have to be in the group to be in this. And it's not a sort of interactive chat as such. You can chat, write, but mainly it's me. Otherwise, it gets a bit chaotic. And it's me appreciating what everyone has done. And it's a great group, so many people saying today's the day and they contribute something really nice. So that's fantastic. Let me just give you one today's the day, and it was yesterday for me. Today's the day I got myself a blender. I got a blender, and my cat, well, it's a kitten sitting, photo bombed the show, as it were. That's the first one. That's the clean one. And the other one is slightly more disturbing, and that's her second photo bomb. And I have just got myself a blender because I'm doing I think it's a 13-week thing where you're supposed to get super duper fit and eat the way you're supposed to. And the first thing I had to do was get a blender for these green smoothies that I'm going to have. So if you have a recipe for a green smoothie, feel free to let me know. So that's that. This is a wonderful group if you want to join. Today's the day, and you appreciate your days as you live them, not looking back and regretting. That's the idea. And this was the weekly highlights. So this is Saturday's newsletter, and it's a list of the weekly highlights, plus another little bit of creativity, of course. And this bit of creativity, if I click on it, I should go to the page. This was my photographs and texts. Every day I do them. Sometimes it's not easy. Oof. This morning, when I'm behind and I think, I don't think, oh God, I've got to do it, but I think I've got to do it. And I generally manage to do it. I'm on number 969 now, in 969 days, coming up to the big 1000, which is pretty amazing. And this was, well, I'll probably tell you about this in a little while. It's on my site here. No, not that. This one. It's the first photograph in chapter 1 of book 4 of volume 2. No, it isn't. It's more like this, the last one in the one before. And this is a piece of street art, graffiti. I'm not sure what you'd call it. Probably street art, because graffiti is a bit more sort of urban rebel, spraying with spray cans and balaclavas and stuff. This is someone who's very well known now. She's called Mystique, and she does this lady often in a short dress and long black hair, and she plays with words. So she does normally it's a play on words, and here it says l'amour fou rend dingue, which means crazy love drives you nuts, something like that. And I met her once, interviewed her once many years ago, and she told me that she couldn't do this anymore, not unofficially, because the police told her that she did it once more, she'd go to jail. So when you see things like this now, it's normally on a shop front, official, and it's been commissioned. And she's a well-known artist now. She has exhibitions and all the rest of it. But, she's one of those people who have always been part of my Paris. There's a few of them, and she's definitely one of them. Always been there, ever since I arrived, since before I arrived. And it's always nice to see them, and especially looking in good condition like this. So that was that. And there was a text that went with it. What did I say? Crazy love drives you nuts, says Mystique. Who am I to argue? I think she probably is, a little, and no doubt so am I. Are artists mad to spend so much time pouring regrets and dragging cigarettes into fine ephemera destined to end in puddles of dust? There's a chance our works will outlast us in some slim way. That must be the answer. We're shooting for immortality, throwing colours at canvas and weaving words on wood, hoping that some will stick around longer than us. One wild guy will even be remembered for taping fruit to a gallery wall. Bananas. Do you remember that? It was about a year ago now. Some guy, he taped a banana to a wall, an art gallery in the States, I think, in New York or something, prestigious gallery. That was the art. You know, it wasn't that he was just a bit thinking he'd be a bit peckish later. That was the art. I think he put a price tag of 120,000 or something on it, and someone bought it. And then I've got a kitten running around. She's playing football at the moment. If you can hear sort of strange noises, I haven't got sort of Lionel Messi in here. I've got a little kitten. And then another wise guy came along to the gallery, took the banana off the wall and ate it. And this is the rather cool bit, claimed that that was art as well. So anything goes, basically. So I think artists are slightly mad, and all the better for it, if you ask me. Right, so I'll come back to some of those later, probably. Now, where are we? Let's have a look at Monday, shall we? See what I come up with. Now, this is in real time. I haven't looked at this since Monday. So what happens is I discover it with you. I think I mentioned this last week. Does this happen to you? You create something and then you leave it, even if it's overnight and you see all the spelling mistakes, or you leave it for a while, you come back to it and it's like it was written or done by someone else. It's quite a strange feeling. And this sometimes happens to me just doing this. So I'm honestly looking at it and discovering it as if it were the first time, and it may well be almost the first time for me because I forget things pretty quickly. By the way, do say hello if you are watching. I'd love to know how you're doing in the chat, and you do need to be on my Facebook profile page to be able to leave a comment, or on the Infinite Creativity Now group, or on Facebook. This one is, and you know, a lot of these, they're written really spur of the moment. I don't really plan. What about you? Do you plan your creativity, or do you just sit down? You've got a rough idea of what you want to do and you let it come. How's it like for you? How does it work? For me, I know the things I want to do. Like I know I'm going to publish a photograph each day. I know I'm going to write a text that goes with it. And I know I'm going to do a newsletter each day now, which has this little creative ponder. But very rarely do I have ideas very, much in advance. So this one, I sat down and I realized I had nothing in my mind about creativity. It was a blank. So what I did was I wrote nothing, absolutely nothing, those 3 words. And the rest came, which is kind of interesting, isn't it? All you have to do is get in action and things will come. It's incredible. It always happens. And it might take, a few minutes, but just me there sitting in front of the thing, nothing, absolutely nothing. Then my brain was saying, how the hell can I follow that? And it did. It came out with this. Nothing, absolutely nothing. I'm going to make it bigger. I can normally go up to 150 and it looks okay. Nothing, absolutely nothing. We're talking clean slate, baby. New week, no special plans, 0 ideas. And this was absolute fact. What a wonderful place to be, which kind of ties into my meme from today, if you think about it. Nothing has been decided, no expectations. The way is wide open to let infinite creativity in. I'm bubbling with anticipation. When nothing is expected, anything can happen. Let it. I was quite pleased with that in the end. I wasn't, expecting it to come out so profound and actually quite elegant, I think. And this ties into something I think I said last week, or maybe later on in the week, you see. But anyway, that's the way it goes. That's what popped out. A meme. I had a meme for Monday. And sometimes I noticed in this section, I kind of follow on from the last one, and I end up thinking, shit, that could have been another creative tip. But anyway, 2 for the price of 1. Inspirational share. We have, and I'd love your comments. Any comments on anything that comes up, please. Don't leave me alone. Don't leave me this way. And if you're watching the replay, thank you. And you can comment as well. We've got Yuriska saying, crazy love makes it hard. It says in the text on the wall, what do you think of that phrase? Crazy love makes it hard. Hang on a second. So what this phrase says is l'amour fou rend dingue. That means like crazy love, being crazily in love makes you crazy, you know? In fact, she's playing on words because we talk about being crazily in love, like totally 100% in love, but not actually crazy. Well, you're a bit crazy, aren't you? And then it's a play on words, you see. Elle joue avec les mots, l'amour fou rend dingue. So, donc elle joue avec les mots et c'est plutôt sympa. Do I think love drives us crazy? Yeah, I think it can. I think you can do crazy, crazy things in the name of love. Logic goes out of the window, bye-bye logic, and hello, whatever it takes. You could even fly halfway around the world for love, you know? It doesn't matter, does it? So back to business. We have everything we need to be creative already. We don't need anything other than our inbuilt genius and our lived experience. That's how I see it. I see creativity being a mixture of everything that's happened to us or that we've lived in our lives, plus this kind of magical mixture of things happening in the moment and a bit of magic from the universe, and something new comes out. Paradoxically, we need nothing in order to bring something into being. We need space to let love in. So yeah, this very much goes hand in hand with what I said above. Nothing is needed for something new to leap forth, if you get it. So let it. So there's a double meaning here. We don't need anything for new things to come. In other words, we don't need a fancy car, we don't need expensive equipment. Ideas can come from the simplest places. Nothing really is needed. We have all we need. But maybe we need there to be nothing. Maybe we need no clutter, no things taking up space. Maybe we need a void in order to fill it, because the brain doesn't seem to like a void. The brain seems to, for example, silence. Silence is often pure torture for a lot of people when they're with someone. Silence is uncomfortable. So we fill it with blah, blah. And I think maybe creativity is like that. If we start with a clean slate, an empty canvas, an empty page, the brain will say, right, let's do something with this. And I know that people talk about the blank page, empty page syndrome and that, but well, maybe, I don't know. I guess it's quite personal. And the meme says, yeah, nothing is needed for something new to leap forth if you get it. And when I say if you get it, I was trying to rhyme with so let it, but I was also thinking if you get the fact that there's two ways of reading that. Nothing is needed, we've got everything we need, but you do need nothing. You do need space to let the ideas come forth. Karen says, I'm sitting here trying to do my Sunday self-portrait while I'm listening to you. Okay, well, don't let me disturb you. Karen! So as I was saying about Karen the other day, did you see that thing from Karen? Well, that's great. It'll be interesting to see if both sides of my brain can work at the same time. That's interesting. So which side am I then? So I suppose that your Sunday self-portrait is the highly logical and analytical one, and I'm the free-flowing, artistic colors and sounds one. I guess that's what you mean, isn't it? That's wonderful. You know what? That would be amazing. I talked to an artist a while ago. He was at an exhibition in Paris, and no, I think it was a woman. There was a woman, and actually the guy as well. Anyway, the woman had these sort of pretty, I don't know if they were abstract or semi-abstract, but they had the names of songs, I think. And she said that each painting was linked to a song that she listened to as she did the painting. And the song became an integral part of that work. She couldn't separate them. Of course, when we look at the painting, we don't know what the song is. But for her, the song is in the painting. It's part of it. So I will actually, if you follow her line of reasoning, I will be, for better or for worse, in your self-portrait forever, Karen. I hope that doesn't sort of put you off it. All right, let's move on to, hang on, so if I click on there, I'm just wondering if no one's, well, some people interact in the group at the moment, followed on the, we need more people. I've only got a handful of people who receive the newsletter at the moment, and the delivery rates are terrible. It's something like 30% of people actually open it. So I'm wondering how many people actually get it. So it's a bit disturbing, but I know that that's what mailing lists are like. It's a really low opening rate for a start, because we all get so many emails. And if you don't actually get it, if it goes into spam or something, then you don't even get it. So that's kind of why I wanted the group to go hand in hand, so that you both belong to the group, Infinite Creativity Now, and you get the newsletter. So you know there's the newsletter coming, and we interact about it, and you contribute anything creative you like in the group whenever you like on any of the daily threads. Right, let's have a look at Tuesday. Moving right along. Can I get rid of that now? Yes, I think I can. Tuesday was called How to Find More Creativity. And I think I called this show nominally How to Find More Creativity. And I think I had a bit of an insight on that. We'll probably come to it at some point. How to find more creativity. There's a story of an old SAB master having a meeting with himself. I wonder who that could be. SAB says to himself, I have a great idea. I'll write a creative tip every day. Himself replies, doubtful. But that means coming up with new ideas all the time. Where on earth are you going to find them? Smiling and without hesitating, SAB replies, wherever they are. Where do we get creative ideas? Wherever they are. And that is my adaptation, of course, of another little story. I think it was a Buddhist story where there's a Buddhist sage or master or whatever they call themselves, thinking of extending, building a brand new retreat or whatever it is. And he was discussing the logistics of it, with the practicalities of it with his disciples or whatever. And one of them says, but master, that'll cost a huge amount of money. Where on earth are we going to get the money from? And smiling and without hesitating, the Zen master or Buddhist master replies, wherever it is. And I loved that. It was so simple and yet so profound. That sounds like a cliche, doesn't it? And there's a French cliche as well, which I often use, which I often come across. And it's something like combining the practical with the pleasant, something like that. Anyway, and that is really positive. Where on earth will you find the money? Well, wherever it is. It's turning it on its head. It's not saying there isn't enough money or there isn't any money. It's saying, well, we've just got to go and get it. That's all. And that automatically suggests you have to do what it takes to find the money. But it doesn't suggest that there's any difficulty in doing that or any conflict or any reason to worry. It just means we need money. We'll imagine where it is and we'll do whatever it takes to get there, or vice versa. We'll do a few things and see which one leads us to it. And that's so cool. And I think it transfers very beautifully across to creativity. Where do ideas come from? Let me know where your ideas come from. Where do you get your best ideas? You might think that doing a self-portrait, well, it's not, you don't need ideas. You just sit down and do another self-portrait and hope it's a bit better or a bit different to the last one. But having said that, there are still creative choices, aren't there? There must be the colors you choose, the types of instruments you choose, the position of the head, whether it's in profile, it's slightly tilted. Is it going to be monochrome or is it going to be in color, painted, drawn, done in a mirror, done, I don't know, whatever the choices are. And elements which you didn't even think of. I don't know, lighting maybe. Is it going to be lit from the window? Is it going to be lit face on? Are you going to try and do it as a caricature or extremely realistic? I'm just making this up. But somewhere along the line, when you create something, you've got to make decisions and creative decisions, and have those decisions, you've got to have the idea in the first place. And where do these ideas come from? Well, wherever they are. I don't really bother worrying about where the ideas are. I just open up. You know, it's like opening up the windows and they'll come in. And that idea of, you don't know when the idea door, the idea window is going to open to let the ideas in. But if you haven't opened the window, they won't be able to get in. You know, if you haven't opened the window and you're standing by it, they won't be able to get in. You won't see them when they do. So it's being open to those ideas, expecting them to come, knowing they'll come even. You don't know when, but you know they'll come. I like that idea because it takes the stress off. And it's that thing where if you look for it, you won't find it. But as soon as you stop looking, you will. When you've got that name, that word on the tip of your tongue, you can strain your brain and make all sorts of funny noises as much as you like. Oh God, I know that. But that won't. Your brain will be so busy concentrating on making the silly noise, it won't be working on finding the name for you. And as soon as you stop doing that and do something else, the brain does the work. The bit of inspirational sharing I found was the day's photograph, which was this one here. At first glance, this building was remarkably unremarkable, banal, boring, and beige. Sorry if beige is your favorite color. On closer inspection, there were plenty of interesting little details. On this part, at least, it was a huge building. It was really pretty much exactly what you see here for like hundreds of meters, but without the bright bits. And then I was wandering along, and suddenly I imagined in my mind, because when I'm looking at things, I see in squares, because all my photographs are square. It's one of my things. I suddenly saw this potential square, which had all of these little things in. You might not think there's anything, but there is. There's about 5 or 6 things. And if I've got someone who's come to see me, I will say, you can say hello. Exceptionally, you can say hello. This is the bit where, hang on. This is the bit where the ratings go through the roof. In other words, I get 3 people instead of 2 watching. This is my little kit. It's not my little kitty. It's a friend's, and I'm kitten sitting, aren't I? Yes, I am. I'm kitten sitting. Look, it's you. Can you see? Oh, who's that? Right, you want to go down now, don't you? You're wondering why on earth is he putting? Oh, so cute. She's cute, except when she isn't. Isn't that right? She's cute, except when she's sharpening her claws on the sofa and things like that, climbing up curtains. So if I click on this, theoretically, I zoom straight over to the page in the Infinite Creativity Now group, where I give you the full-blown images to inspire you and the text. Okay, so that's that. The action call for today is look for little details on buildings, in rooms or in nature that you haven't noticed before, and share a picture of them in today's Infinite Creativity Now group. So that each day I'll give you a little call to action based on what I'm showing you, but it doesn't have to be. And listen to this. Right now, as I'm starting these shows, I don't have many people watching, so I could get despondent. But I don't. For one thing, I love talking about creative stuff. Plus, some people do watch. But I've twisted it round. So I've said to myself, imagine no one watches. What's the point of doing this? Well, I'm building a book of creative tips. Every single week, I do 5 of these. That's 5 pages of a book. How long would it take to let's say in a year, I'd have actually a big book illustrated on creative tips. How cool is that? So I'm suggesting that you do the same thing. You see, it always goes both ways. So I've found a way of creating with passion whilst there is a very strong temptation to be despondent. I'm not despondent, but I could be. I've started so many creative things that I'm used to starting it. No one seems to be interested. I know some people are, but if they don't seem to be, or there's 2 people instead of 2,000, I'm thinking, you know, that's where the little voices hit and start saying, you know, what are you doing? Another stupid idea. Come on, do something else. Forget it. You're making a fool of yourself. All of that comes slamming at me. But my way of dealing with that is to not just have one objective. I'm doing this as a very as a way of getting a whole collection of these things out there. It's the same with my photographs. I do a photograph every day of Paris. Big deal. Does anyone look at them? I don't know. Maybe some. But I'm now up to 1,000 pictures and 1,000 texts. That's crazy. Just because I said, I'll put it out there. But if I don't get reactions which I'm seeming to want, you know, maybe probably to massage my ego, well, don't do it for that. Do it for other reasons. And if people do like it, it's a plus. So there you go. What did I write about this? See if I can... Oh, here we are. So about this one, I said, ภิrsztg is saying freedom, equality, and fraternity. It's the French motto. And this says, looking down from a raised walkway by the Gare de Lyon. You know the Gare de Lyon, ภิrsztg. My eye was attracted to this charming little collection of various things French. The nation's logo of liberty, equality, and fraternity. The joke, the French joke, is to say that the French logo is liberté, égalité, vos papiers. And vos papiers means your papers. So liberty, equality, show us your papers. Floats above the obligatory tricolour, the 3-coloured flag, and the rather sulky star-studded European flag, as you can see down there in the bottom left. A wan yellow lamp offers the only glimmer of warmth in the scene, pointlessly attempting to illuminate the austere pale walls in broad daylight. Most impressive is the splendid bronze boat, Paris's proud, shaken but never sunk emblem, which sits atop a striking Art Deco panel in bas-relief. I don't know how to say that in French. In English, bas-relief. Bas-relief? In French, it's bas-relief. I can't remember if this was a police station or a school, but the French sure are attached to their national Republican symbols. So the takeaway from that, I guess, would be you can find interesting things in what seems like boring banalities. Another way of doing that is to get abstract, get in really close and just play with angles and textures and colors. That's something that I cover in my smartphone class, which is coming up in September 21st. All of September will be devoted to the smartphone photography group. Let me see if I can find it. Where I'll be doing, yeah, here it is. No. As you can see here in the smartphone photography group, there'll be a 5-day challenge, very simple, in September. Just a photo, 5 days, 5 themes, 5 photographs. In other words, 5 photographs in total to have fun with, and maybe take 5 photographs in 5 different ways that you haven't taken before. And then I will be doing some daily photo analyses leading into this session, the September session of my smartphone photography masterclass, which is starting on the 21st of September. So do check that out if you're interested. I did it for the first time this spring and it was wonderful. Everybody finished up with beautiful portfolios of stunning images, nothing like what they were doing at the beginning. Really great. So let's move on to Wednesday. Does this system seem nice to you? I go through the newsletter and click and read. So this is Wednesday, Wondrous Wednesday. And this one I entitled, Take the Boring Route. Take the boring route. I don't know if that's a good headline or not. I'm making my own headlines up. I don't follow anybody's advice. You know, you can buy courses on how to make amazing, you can buy a year's worth of email titles and stuff. I just don't, I hate anything which is obviously, ostensibly marketing. When I can sniff it from, you know, a mile. When I see a title, an email title, and I think, oh God, that's number 320 in the pack of catchy email titles that he just bought. or that he's using. I just cringe. So I make all of these up on the spur of the moment, folks. It's all me. Take the boring route. I explored Dijon today, a historic town in the southeast of France. Let's go this way, my friend said. It's prettier. I suggested going the way she doesn't usually go, in case we discover something interesting. We discovered a medieval wine cellar. We found a delightful park. We saw an exhibition of street photos and poetry. We saw some interesting shops. We explored 3 churches, one after the other, getting bigger and bigger. All because we didn't just go down the pretty street. We got a little lost, but that's the thing. When you get lost, you often find the most interesting things. Which kind of ties into the idea of not having an agenda and not really knowing where you're going. If you've got an objective, you do need to go where you're going. But if you're after pure creativity, it's often pretty good either not to know where you're going or to not mind where you end up. And Uriska is saying at the top is a bronze ship. Yeah, this is the symbol of Paris, Uriska. Sorry, I keep closing them and then I get comments on them. Maybe it's because you're translating or something. I don't know if I can find it now. Yeah, this is the bronze ship you can see there is the symbol of Paris. And the symbol of Paris, the ship, the motto is, the boat is rocked by the waves, but it doesn't sink. And it's true, Paris has many times been attacked and things like that, but Paris is still here. Paris is still Paris. It's not part of some other regime. And so yeah, the idea is, I know it's a cliche and people say take a different route to work and see what happens, but do you actually do it? I mean, have you got the time to do it? Do you need to do it? Do you want to do it? Well, it doesn't have to be a new route to work. It's just doing something different, isn't it? It's just doing something that you haven't done before. Or as I was with a friend who said, we just went to see a square and we were going to go back. And the suggestion was, let's go back that way. It's quicker or something like that. But I didn't know Dijon at all. And I said, but what's that way? And she said, no, it's not very interesting. And I said, great. If it's not interesting, that means you haven't spotted the interesting things yet. So I wanted to go that way. And as I said, we found about 3 or 4 things which I genuinely think were interesting. And most to the point, we wouldn't have seen them if we hadn't gone that way. So I'm someone who, when I'm walking along and I see a little alleyway, which looks like it might lead somewhere interesting, I want to go down it just in case. And at the end of those alleyways, you find pretty amazing things sometimes. And sometimes you just find piles of rubbish and sort of dead bodies waiting for American cop shows to come and find them. In Dijon, this exact thing happened. My friend said, there's some places here where you push open the door, and if you go down to the end of the little passageway, there's something amazing on the other end. And I said, great, I love that. We're walking along, and we walked past one of the said things. I mean, a typical little passageway, which looked like there might be something interesting at the end, but she walked straight past it. And I said, hang on a second, what's down there? It looks kind of interesting. And she said, that's what I was talking about. That is the one. She only had one. That is the one. So we went down there. There was an amazing medieval courtyard with a stunning spiral staircase. And I don't think we would, despite the fact that she mentioned it, she didn't stop. And I don't think we'd have gone that way the next day. So thanks to my little sniffy nose, I saw the thing which she said was great, but which she wasn't actually going to show me. So, I don't know. You've got to rely on your instincts. Sometimes it's easier to walk past a possible point of interest than to take a few steps in that direction just in case. And we all do it. But I do tend to try and take those steps. Even if I can't be bothered, I try to bother. Take those few steps, because so often, relatively speaking, there will be something interesting that you would have missed. Having said that, you need to find somewhat odd things interesting. If it's not your cup of tea, then that's that. But I'm addressing creative people with creative minds who want to be exposed to unexpected things. Because every time you do that, I mean, look at me now. I'm telling this story because I went down that little passageway, because I stopped my friend and said, hey, what's down there? And now I'm telling it to you. It was part of a newsletter. Whether the whole thing is a pointless exercise, the newsletter, me, the stories and whatnot, I don't know, but that's what I do. What's next? Today's inspirational sharing and call to action. On peering over a boring, this is exactly what I just said, you see. On peering over a boring, unremarkable wall, I discovered a remarkable three-legged statue. On waiting for a bus, I saw three types of transport parade in front of a lowly, rather sad-looking bench. Nice surprises for going along rather boring roads. And I decided to put two photographs up to illustrate that point. They were two of my photos of the week. And yeah, the first one, I think I read you the story. It's coming. So you see in the newsletter, I repeat the creative bit, the first part, but I don't do the second part, but I do give you the pictures. So I think I read you the story of that one, but not of this one. This one is pretty cool as well. Look at this. This was literally, you can't see it from road level. You have to be walking along the edge of a wall, looking down. This is looking down. You see, I'm taking the photograph from above, and I looked into the history of this guy. Fascinating, really good stuff. If I flip over to my photographs of the week, you find him here. Where is he? No, you don't. He's gone, man. He's gone. Must be the week before. Yeah, I'll stick to these, otherwise I'll get distracted. But there was a nice story about who he is and such like. So what have you created this week, by the way? Have you created anything nice? Have you taken some nice photographs or written anything, a poem, or baked a nice cake? Or tell me, let me know what you've been up to creatively these days. And if you're watching the replay, thanks a lot. And you can do the same. Let me know what you've been up to, and I will talk about it as well. So here are where are we? Yeah, so this is the statue with the three legs. Very strange, isn't it? Apparently, this was the sculptor's attempt to show motion in a static statue. And as I said in the text with it, I reckon it must be the equivalent of taking a blurred photograph where someone is blurred to show movement, or a double exposure maybe. But as it is, when it's a solid, larger than life-size statue and a man with two arms but three legs, I'm not sure if it really does convey movement. It just kind of looks just weird, but great. Isn't that much more interesting than a statue with two arms and two legs? I should say so. So great. That's what I love. Fancy seeing that. Just because I looked over a wall instead of walked straight down the street on my way to the train station. Okay, and the action call, so I'll give you an idea for this, was, and you can do these, you can do it if you want, you can modify it and contribute in the Infinite Creativity Now group. Take the boring way today and see what surprises it has in store for you. There's always something surprising to see if you're not walking around with your eyes closed. As I said to my friend who was, I came out to this with my friend, and she seems to impressed for some reason. I said, there's always something to see if you're not walking around with your eyes closed. Yeah. I mean, it's true, but there's also the idea that walking around with your eyes closed, they're open, but they're not seeing. And as artists, as artistic people, as writers, we need to be seeing on several different levels at the same time. We need to be seeing the dog crap in front of us so as not to fall over it and break our noses. But we also need to be seeing in metaphors, seeing in squares, seeing in whatever your thing is, seeing through the eye of seeing through your artistic eye, whatever that is. 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗔𝗧𝗜 is incredibly artistic. You see so many amazing photo opportunities. It's amazing. Okay, so that was Wednesday. Let's move on to Thursday. How are we doing? Oh, we're doing fine. 50 minutes in. So Thursday I called the creative process no less. The creative process no less. Now, what can this be? As I said, it's a surprise for me as well as for you. The creative process no less. That's the name of a funny little book I stole from my parents forever, without the no less bit. And this is it. The creative process from 19. Well, actually, I'll read you the text, and you can see what I said about it. It's a curious collection of essays and letters on creativity, or just their creative struggles, actually, by creative people, published in Canada in 1952. That's nearly 70 years ago. Oh my God, sorry. Oh. I need more coffee. Not that there's caffeine in it, and I'm drinking far more water than usual. What my old folks were doing with such a volume, I don't know. It seems creativity was alive and thriving in North America 70 years ago, though. Van Gogh's letter starts, so there's a letter from Van Gogh to someone, and he's talking about his work, and he says, well, actually, I'll show you how long it is, so you get an idea. And I've literally just taken the first sentence. I'm not going to just quote, copy the article. It's only this long, you see. It's only a page long. From here to here. From here to here. So it's a letter to someone. And I only did the first little paragraph because I thought it was interesting. And the other went into details, which wouldn't have had much sense if I didn't read the whole thing. I have been working very hard. I had not made many compositions or studies for a long time. So when I once got started, I became so eager that many a morning I got up at 4 o'clock. Vincent and I have that time in common. It's when I go to bed when the muse has me by the throat. Are crazy hours an essential part of the creative process? Not necessarily, but often, yes. Passion isn't a clock watcher. Passion isn't a clock watcher. And I'm going to do that a bit more. I'm going to dip into various sources so that I have a rich amount of stuff to talk about on creativity on a Sunday evening. Vincent, he was famous for writing many, many letters to his brother about his struggles, his doubts, and not having any money and all the rest of it. And I don't think he sold many or any paintings during his lifetime. He gave them away, and yet he was funded. He was not sponsored. He had a sort of patron. I think it was through his brother who funded him. And I mean, he was in the last year or two, he painted phenomenally. He painted like a painting a day or something, which doesn't sound a lot to us because we can take 100 photographs in a day. And yet a painter, an artist, to paint a painting a day, I'm sure it was in the hundreds in his last year. You look at many of his paintings, it's 1890 or 93 or whatever it was. And can you imagine that level of obsession, of passion, of maybe desperation because I mean, he killed himself. So it's not like he was a happy bunny. And it was like he had this desperation. I feel that sometimes, to get out what you've got in you before it's too late. And the more I work on or think about mortality, coming to terms with mortality, I'm both getting calmer and more stressed. That might sound strange. I'm getting perfectly fine about life, death, birth, whatever you want to call it, seeing it more and more as really just a continuing process. And we randomly say that what we call death is a major thing, and what we call birth, whatever actual moment we define as that birth, is it when you come out of the mum? Is it when the sperm meets the egg? So already it's slightly not 100% sure. So I'm coming to terms with that, and I'm pretty okay with it. I'm pretty okay with where I am now, where I've been, where I'm going. Having said that, I'm desperate to create as much as I can. Because sure, I might live another 20, 30, 40 years, who knows? But maybe tomorrow will be the last day. What do we know? That happens for some people, and for people who aren't expecting for it to be the last day. So there's this kind of calm desperation, I would say, to get stuff out there. That's why I do this stuff every day. I can't stop myself. And I want others to feel that, and I don't want to tell others what to do, but if they feel it, if you feel that that's what you want to do, then I want to be there to support you, and you support me, and there it goes. So, you know, I can imagine him getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Many a morning I got up at 4 o'clock. And I have to say, many a morning I go to bed at 4 o'clock. So it's kind of the same thing. It's just we burn the candle at opposite ends. But, you know, when you get into the groove and stuff, time disappears. That's it. When you're in the zone, the muse takes over, time disappears, and amazing things happen. Karen says, I went urban sketching with a friend. It's in Today's Today. Let's see if I can find it. Beep, beep, beep. I've got so many windows open, I can't see where Today's Today is. What's that? That's Paris. That's Creative Blog. There's Today's Today. All right, let's have a look. See if I can find it. I might have to redo the... I'll read you the page just in case. Look at this. This is Kirsten doing another amazing mixed media, I think is what she calls it. And she sticks things on. So she takes things out of magazines, she sticks them on, but then she paints over them and does, I don't know what she does, but she comes up with stunning works. So Karen went urban sketching, which sounds nice. How does that work? You just go out there with a seat and a sketch pad. That'll be so much easier than having paints and needing water and cleaning your brushes and stuff. So let's see if I can find it. Otherwise, I'll look for you. I'll track you down by name. Look, this is Dorothy. She was very happy with these photographs that she published today. And this is a thistle, I think. Thistle is the native, it's you and me again, Karen. The thistle is the native flower of Scotland. So, Scots, we're here. We're hey, Jimmy. And I'm looking for Karen. This was a bit of, I said I wouldn't do this, but I am, a bit of synchronicity. I published a photo of the day, which was my self-portrait. This is a self-portrait of me reflected in the lion on a Peugeot car. Can you see me? And at the same time as I published it, unbeknownst to either of us, Ruth had just chosen to put 2 lions on her iPhone cover to make it easier to find. And she saw great synchronicity in that. All right, there's a thistle again. Karen, where are you? That's Marie's. Marie's is a nice friend of mine, and I think she's in the States, and she takes a photograph on a regular basis and she writes text to go with it, which is perfect. I love this. I do it, obviously. And she said, there's 2 butterflies on the ground. She says, souls of a feather, butterfly together, which is nice. She's from Belgium originally. The original in English, what is it? Birds of a feather flock together. And she said, souls of a feather, butterfly together, which is good. Sorry, Karen, but either you're hallucinating, you're losing your mind, or I'm just losing your photograph. So many people contributing. Look at this. It's amazing. So Karen says, whilst we're waiting, she says, yes, I draw with ink and add watercolor with a water brush to distract you from the wonky lines. You know, that's what makes these sort of drawings so charming, though. Well, I don't know where you are. I'm gonna look for you explicitly. I love it when, you know, you've got wonky lines and you've got watercolor splodged over it, goes over the line. It's not precise. That is just so beautiful. I'm gonna find you. I'll get there. I'll get there in the end. Yes, I will. Well, look. These are saying that you like things, but it's not you posting. Sorry, I don't know where it is. You see you're liking stuff, but I can't see that you've actually... Could this be it? Is this it? Am I going mad? Recent photos. This one. I'm going mad. I'm going slightly mad. It was Wednesday, she says. Well, I hope it's this one. Yeah, there you go. So there's this one, and there's also this one. Compare and contrast. One is without color, and the other one is with. I had my eyes opened wide by a local artist who started a new project. Yeah, we saw this one, didn't we? So this is basically not with color. What is my computer up to? Yeah, with a tiny bit of red on the door, but apart from that, it's quite somber. And then this one, which is lovely. So it's very interesting, actually. I wonder if you were trying any particular technique here, or you were just practicing, you were just having fun. What have we got? We've got comments here. I went urban sketching with a friend down by the local ruins of an old woolen mill. And Lydia says, I need to know where this is, please. Love your artwork. That's nice. There's something about this. It almost looks like the buildings are flat, like it's a piece of paper sticking up in front. It's kind of as though you've got the building sharp and the background is fuzzy. That's very strange, like a 3D effect. And it does look like you're looking through that doorway. It's a very good effect. Maybe I'm missing the line, you know, the line around the edge on the outside kind of makes it look like it's a piece of paper, a piece of card that has been stuck and is in front of the background. Do you see what I mean? Because of that line, exactly because of that line, because I don't think the lines weren't really there in real life. So it actually looks like almost like a paper cutout, which is standing on a piece of paper, which is in front of a background, which is a bit further away. That's very interesting. Love it. Now she says the ruins, but both are urban sketching, right? Yeah, just go out there and sketch. That's wonderful. I mean, I do the same thing with my camera, but it's not exactly the same, is it? There's something about going out there with a pen and a paper and inks and just getting it down. Wonderful. Okay, so I was just telling you that passion isn't a clock watcher. And the inspirational sharing for that day was Thursday, I think. Today's new meme was directly inspired by a stunning post in one of my groups where a great artist felt obliged to indicate that her work was, nevertheless, less than perfect. This was, maybe I won't say, this cowering before the imaginary god of perfection is incredibly common amongst artistic types. And I'm as guilty as the next person until I catch myself doing it. And I'll just go to the action call before looking at the meme. Post a recent creation without a hint of apology or excuse for its less than perfectness. Now, you know what I think of perfect, don't you? Perfect and imperfect, get rid of them. Pointless. It's just what you did. It just is. And the idea was that you can share it in the group and you get the full-size meme. If you happen to like my memes and you want to print them out, don't print them out from the email because it's a small version. Print them out, click to the group, and if you want to print them out, you can for the fridge, and you get a bigger version that is much nicer when it's printed out and looks something like this. So I hope that over the months and years, this will build into a lovely group with lots of people contributing, and we'll see where it goes from there. And the meme is, perfection is anything finished and put out there. Any other definitions still up in the air. Perfection is anything finished and put out there. Any other definitions still up in the air. So I don't really believe in this idea of perfection because I don't understand what it means. I have no idea what it means in any sort of sensible form, especially in relation to creativity. In relation to an industrial process, okay, maybe. But when you're doing something with your hands for the first time, it's never been done before, it's incomparable. You're incomparable, we are incomparable, and what we produce is incomparable. Unless you want to buy into certain schools of thought, you know, that a good picture of a tree is supposed to look like this. And yeah, you can learn techniques and things, but the problem is we swallow the opinions of others before we've even tried to let our own creativity out. That's where the danger is. There we are. And 𝗏𝗏𝗏 says, and we have a rhyme. Yes, we do. In all of these crazy creative series, there's supposed to be 81 of them. I think I'm up to about number 25 now, 27. I decided the first one rhymed, and then I decided, okay, they're all going to rhyme. So for better or for worse, they rhyme in some way or other. Okay, let's go back to Fabulous Friday, and this is the last day in the series, and we'll see what we've got. So how's your self-portrait coming along, Karen? I'd love to know. Yaruska, how are you doing? If you're still with me, I hope you're having a nice afternoon. Nice to have you here. Nice not to be alone. Really appreciate it. So the final one is Fabulous Friday. Instant creativity at the press of a button. That's one of the reasons I love photography so much. You get instant creative gratification. It's almost too easy. In the old days, you had to wait to get your snaps back, and you paid every time you clicked. Do you remember that? These days, you can imagine strange new worlds, and with the tickle of a virtual switch, they're yours. And are our photos any less real than our actual lives? We seem to experience most things through computers today. Can taking a simple photo really be likened to producing great art? For me, the answer lies in the intentions of the heart. In other words, if you are feeling what's going on as you take a photograph, and you're part of that scene, and you're thinking about it, you're absorbing it, imbibing it, then I think it's just as valid as when you're painting a picture, for example. Why shouldn't it be? But if you just clicking without much regard to anything, then no, I don't think it is particularly great art. But the potential's there. And that, I'm glad I saw this, because I realized when I wrote this that would be a meme, and then I lost it. So there it is again. So if I ever ask you, where was that meme? There it is. I'm going to make this into a meme. Something like that. Did I do it here below? No. Can taking a simple photo really be likened to producing great art? It's a bit long. For me, the answer lies in the intentions of the heart. I'm going to turn that into a meme. And the inspirational share was this photo. This photo is part of my creative disintegration project, or my perturbing self-portraits, as I sometimes call them. Now, this is something I recommend you think about. And Karen, you're kind of doing it. You are painting yourself on a regular basis. And this is fantastic, because not only will your paintings improve, I mean, you'll be happier and happier with them, but this is a record. This is a precious record, which will last longer than us and will really mean something special for others. And it's fun to do. So when I take my creative creative disintegration project photos, I'm thinking, this is a legacy. This is me today. I won't be the same. And I try to make it as different as possible as well. That's my artistic challenge. So I'm less obvious than usual. What am I saying here? Yeah, I'm less obvious than usual in the self-portrait, because I'm reflected in the silver lion. But I'm there if you look closely. I publish a new one every 10 days until one fine day, I'll simply, but creatively, disintegrate away. And it's another way of coming to terms with things. If we see it all as part of the process, I mean, I'm even imagining, this sounds a bit morbid, but It's not. Everything is taking place in the present, even my thoughts about the future. So it's just another way of being creative. Way back in many hundreds of when Lady Eye Smiles ago, these Paris Chronicles here, I devoted a whole one to a creative demise. What would happen when I moved on? And I imagined, I love 3x3 grids of 9. I imagined 9 envelopes of rainbow colors, and my ashes would be placed, some of them in each one, and each envelope would be taken by a certain special person with a special mission to do something with them, which would be very symbolic and artistic. I think that's pretty cool. Karen says, you will recognize the one where I'm listening to you as I have my headphones on. Oh, okay. Oh, that is, I feel really pleased, really chuffed that you're doing that. Well, I hope you finish soon, because I'm not going to go on for too much longer, unless you, well, it doesn't matter, does it? So what did I write about this? Anything worthwhile? I'm kidding. Everything I do is worthwhile, isn't it? Here it comes. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Do you know that I'm publishing my favorite music regularly on my homepage? I'll show you if I can find it. I thought, I love so much music, and I love so much great music, in my humble opinion. I mean, it's not my music, so it's not as though I'm flattering myself. And maybe I'm flattering my tastes, but that's what taste is, isn't it? Anyway, I decided a while ago, a few months ago, to start publishing a little text about a favorite song with a link to that the video on YouTube. And sometimes the quality of the song trumps it having a video or not. So if the version with the video is crap, I will give you the version without the video and just the song. Because back in the old days, it used to be music first. There didn't used to be videos, and now it's like there's a video and maybe the song is okay or not. But anyway, so this one, here's an example. It's number 25. It's a huge mixture of types of music. And I'm putting it out there, and that'll be another part of my legacy. If people want to know what songs I thought were amazing, that blew my brains, that turned me into terrible puddles of tears. They won't all be in there, but as many as I can manage. And this one came from the very first album I ever bought, which wasn't by a sort of compilation of recent hits by some awful cover artists with some cheesy picture on the front of a semi-clad woman for some reason, which might have been, as I say in this text, it might have been my introduction to the opposite sex seen in a completely different way. Anyway, it was Slade. Oh my God. I was a little kid, and I think I was under 9. And is that possible? I think I was under 9. So here's a little 8-year-old or 7-year-old running around listening to this on headphones like you, Karen, because I could blow my brains out with the volume, and my parents didn't realize. And it was so heavy, I thought they were sort of glam rockers. I didn't really know what was what in those days. I didn't know anything. But I put this on, and it was all a heavy cut, and oh my God, it's just so heavy. This is where I learned to love heavy music. I mean, I love very soft music as well. Go through if you're interested in my musical tastes, go through my Facebook profile, and they're all there. You have to scroll down and down and down. But at some point, I'll put them in one single place so that they're all accessible. Complete and utter hodgepodge of tracks, going from very heavy to very light and anywhere in between. So there's another little creative project. When I can't produce it myself, I still want to revel in other people's creativity. So if you're exposing yourself to me here, that's kind of what you're doing. I go to art exhibitions, listen to music, look at other people's art, appreciate your contributions. I'm nourishing myself, and it's, it just goes round and round. So where was I? I was on Friday. I think it's Friday. And is it Friday? Yeah, Fabulous Friday. So this is the last one I'm doing. I need to chug over to, oh, there it is. So if I blow this up, this is rather nostalgic for me, because it's the first car that my parents had was a Peugeot 404. And we got it, my dad got it in Australia. He had to learn to drive 2 be able to buy the car. And we drove around Australia and that for a year. And the text I did was this, and I think I'll leave it at that after that. We'll call it a day. Thanks for having been with me. It was my birthday last week, and at one point in my childhood, I remember having a collection of 5 or 6 Leo mugs, which I was rather proud of. Time moved on, and I stopped taking any of the supposed attributes of my zodiac sign seriously, however flattering, because they always flatter you, don't they? Imagine my surprise to realize 50 years later that huge numbers of adults still believe in the heavy influence of imaginary constellations. This is where I lose friends, but anyway. Imaginary constellations, tarot card tumblings, and assorted angels, auras, and amulets on our personalities and perambulations. I'm okay with being a lion. My family's first ever car was a Peugeot, as I told you way back in When Lady Eiffel Smiles, number 67. I found a funny one for that. Big mane, Lord of the Jungle, king-sized ego, that sort of thing. Cool. Mind you, a day or two later, and I'd have been a Virgo, which in French translates as virgin of all things. Me? Really? No. Want to see what's under the hood, ladies? Yeah, sometimes a couple of those lines are easier to swallow written than spoken. So that is my creative output for this week. Or apart from this, of course, my photographs. And yet again, it's another chapter down, 1 per day. And there's the lion. There's Mystique. On the other side of that shop front is this. So it's a pretty cool shop front. And I'm not sure if this is Mystique as well. It's very much in her style. But I've just got a funny feeling maybe it isn't. And so he's on one side and Mystique is on the other. And they make a jolly nice pair. So you can see most of the ones I talked about, because it's very much, there's a kind of a window in which one of my daily creations is valid, from a little while before I publish it officially to a little while after. And that sort of window, things get done with it. I talk about it. I make it the banner of the Today's the Day group. If you look here in the Today's the Day group, no, of course not. No. I closed it. I closed the Today's the Day group because I don't know why. But as you know, but if you're watching the replay and you don't know, then I'm repurposing my stuff. And that's something you can do. Don't just paint something and show it once and do nothing else with it. You can do lots of things with it. It can inspire you to write. For example, not only do I write texts inspired by my photographs. For example, I'm doing a 21-day writing challenge. I'm participating in it. It's somebody else's thing. To see things from a different angle, to see what prompts they come up with, to see what I might come up with. So you can let one thing that you create inspire another thing. So for example, I decided to recycle my photograph of the day as the banner of the Today's the Day group. But I wasn't satisfied with just sticking it up there, another place to put it. So I thought, okay, I will let this inspire a 2 or 3 word inspirational piece of text. So there, for example, it says, Today's the Day, seize away. And I don't put my original text in this group. It doesn't have its place there. I just put this little banner thing, and I hope it's inspirational for people to see things more positively and to appreciate their lives as they chug through them. And the portrait of the day, says Karen. The portrait is up now, such as it is in Today's the Day. The portrait is up. Wait a minute. You're talking about the portrait that you've just done? Seriously? We'll see about that. So that was that. And what was the call to action, the inspirational share and call to action. This photo is part of my creative disintegration project, or my perturbing self-portraits, as I sometimes call them. Oh, I've already read this. I publish a new one every 10 days. And that's enough. And because I publish the chapters of my Paris photos are 9 pictures together, and one of them is the self-portrait, that means that every 9 chapters or so, there's a chapter, a full chapter without me. Woof, what a relief. And the prompt was, and this is kind of what Karen has done, today be your own subject. You're always available, after all. And the theme is fascinating, isn't it? So share a creative self-portrait in the Infinite Creativity Now group today. Karen, you can do it. You can do it right now. Go and do it. Fantastic. Okay, let's have a look, see if we can find you. Dun, da, da, da. Ah, there it is. Today's the day I drew my self-portrait while listening to this week's SABSANG. It's wonderful. It's fantastic. Oh, that's great. My God, I think your technique is getting better. I love it. Have you got purple headphones? That's pretty funky. You don't often smile in your pictures, do you? Then again, would you really sort of sit grinning at yourself? Mind you, you've painted yourself looking off to the side. Now, are you looking at yourself in a mirror? How did you catch yourself looking off to the side as you were painting yourself? You'd have to be pretty quick, I reckon, to do that. All right, so there we are. That's a fantastic way to finish, isn't it? You've been listening to me. We've been sharing ideas about creativity. You've been creating, and there it is. You share it back to me. This is a perfect example of a beautiful creative circle. It's a virtuous circle going round and round. All right, well, that's pretty much it. Word from our sponsors. Join the mailing list and the Crazy Creative Clan, which consists of, I'm kind of making it up as I go along, getting the newsletter every day with my little, what you've just seen, and you get your 9 ninja tips for free, which are fun, and look something like this. I just thought I'd show you one, actually. It's been a while. So there's 9 of these, and they're based on a little idea, and then I give you a little thought on why I think this is a good idea to help you be more creative. And then down in the bottom, actually that's not the right example. Sorry, I've messed up. No, that's wrong. This should be a little text, which, that's interesting. I've messed it up. This should be a little text giving you an example of how I put this point into action. I think I was creating another one with the same color, and I've confused the numbers and what I was putting in them. But anyway, it looks more or less like that. For your money, which is 0, you also get an inspirational meme. This one says, inspiration doesn't come from you, nor does it come to you. It flows through you. Do you flow too? And I had a sort of semi-one-line exchange with someone about finding your voice. And they said, someone said, you don't find your voice, it's already in you. And I said, I like the idea that you don't find your voice finds you, which was could be the same thing or not. And then the person said, I don't know, someone else said something else. But it was kind of interesting, isn't it? The voice, where does it come from? What is your voice? We can talk about that next time. What is your creative voice? What is your photographic eye? Your writer's voice? Your painter's, I don't know, brush stroke, signature? Anyway, that's another story, another discussion for another day. So Karen says, hard to smile while concentrating in a mirror. You could have been grimacing then, couldn't you? You could have been going, oh, damn, that's not it. And spot the tiny humbleness there. The portrait is up now, such as it is. That's what all us artists do. We bring our work down a little bit, just in case. My theory is that these sort of phrases are a kind of protective mechanism to slightly criticize ourselves or suggest it isn't perfect, just in case someone else does. So we get it in first. And I do it all the time. And I think, damn, I've done it again. So such as it is. And I do that. I say, for what it's worth. That's my thing. I say, here it is, for what it's worth. Maybe it's okay to do that. Maybe I'm saying, I'm not saying it's great. But then again, there's something quite pure about saying, look, I just did this. And I'm working towards that. I think it's not a bad place and not a bad way to do it, but maybe I'm not there yet. Anyway, so that's it. So the word from the sponsors was join the mailing list, and you just need to go to infinitecreativitynow.com/newsletter. Here it is again. If you just joined us, say hello, but I'm about to go. Sorry. The whole show has just been full of amazing creative chat and ideas and examples, and you've just arrived a couple of minutes too late before the end. But anyway, thanks for coming, and hello and goodbye. Who have I got? We got Ingrid. Hi, Ingrid. How are you doing? Ingrid, you're going to have to watch the replay. If you've got an hour, please do. But I'm just about to go. But, the recording's there. Thanks so much for popping in. And what was I doing? Yeah, I was saying that you can go to this to get... You want to be part of the Crazy Creative Clan, which is the heart of my free creative activities on the internet. It's the newsletter every day, plus my 9 ninja tips and anything else I decide to give you, plus the... Oh, cat just jumped onto my lap. Minus claws, I'm pleased to say. There she is. Hello. 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 What are you doing there? Yeah, and if you want to, I'll say bye-bye to the cat. Bye-bye. And just to finish off with one quick look at the banner of the Creative Smartphone Photography Group. Please make September a creative month. Everyone has one of these in their pocket, and if you haven't done it before, I invite you to do the 5-day photographic challenge in this group, the Creative Smartphone Photography Group. It starts on the 7th and it lasts for 5 days, 5 ideas and 5 quick photos to take. And hopefully you'll finish with 5 new photographs that you're really pleased with at the end. And there'll be interactive stuff and such like. But it'll be very easy, not as in-depth as the one I did in the spring on self-portraits. Much lighter, because that was big. I now sell that. And then there will be a period of 9 days. 9 days. I like the number 9, where I will probably be doing a daily photo analysis, which is also leading up to my smartphone photography masterclass. I did this for the first time in the spring, and it was wonderful. Absolutely fantastic. The photographs that people, for a start, it's an in-depth masterclass. It's 9 weeks and very interactive. There's videos, we have live things and stuff, and it's investigating all sorts of aspects of photography. It takes your sad snaps, as I call them, to really masterpieces in some cases. And everybody finishes with a beautiful photo gallery of many photographs under 9 different themes. It's just wonderful. It's such a beautiful, warm experience. And the next one starts on September the 21st. And I will just put up the page so you can see what it looks like. And places will be limited because it's an intensive thing, but I give a lot of personal support. So go here and read all about it, and join me if you like. And we are currently on early bird pricing, so you get a huge discount on the standard price. And it's starting in 19 days, so go for it. I'll be doing the major promotion later, but I do mention it every time I'm live now because it's coming up, and I would like you to do it with me. So if you like my approach, you like the way things are, check it out and join me. All right, that's it for today from me and the kitty. It's been fun. I've appreciated you being here. Thank you very much. And I will see you again soon. If you want to see me as soon as possible, it'll be tomorrow, and I'll be talking all about photographs, your photographs, my photographs, and any questions you have about photography, we can talk about it then. And then the next one will be on Thursday when I talk about words. Sound good? All right. This is me, Sab, in Paris, over and out, wishing you a beautiful end of Sunday, if that's what it is for you. And talk to you again soon. Bye for now, folks. Bye-bye.